Hey there, boys and girls. It's Tim K here, host of the Veterans Project podcast, founder of the Veterans Project and the Caregiver Project as well. Now, our nation's been at war for over the past 17 years, and it's certainly taken its toll on the warfighters that defend this great blood wall. Many of you out there listening right now even are suffering from PTSD, anxiety, battle-related stress, mood swings, and sleep disorders. Now, you know our current medical system is... Their majority answer is to try to combat those issues with prescription opioids, but those can lead to even more severe health problems. But the good news is we have veteran-owned companies like Mayday Hemp Company, founded by a former hard charge and recon Marine, to create safe, even beneficial alternatives to harsh prescription drugs. My guys at Mayday Hemp Company are doing it right with THC-free CBD products. Their oils, soft gels, and topicals have been proven to relieve anxiety, help with sleep, and even aid in workout recovery. That's right. Get your workout on and feel better with the CBD topicals. Each batch tested to the most stringent standards in order to provide their customers with the highest quality product possible. Head over to maydayhemp.com to try it yourself. I wanted to switch things up a little bit today. Now, I've been well aware of some reviews coming in that are amazing, some awesome, positive 5-star reviews, and I want to thank you, the listener, for showing some love to the project. It's all about hashtag one person. We're talking about hashtag one person because it only takes one person to spread this movement, to make this a viable item in the lives of so many, bridge this gap, creating awareness, and allowing for us to grow together as a community. So this is from Iva, E-I-I-V-A. I'm probably not saying it wrong. Maybe Eva. Yeah, I think it's Eva. I've been following the Veterans Project for a few now. I started on the website and kind of made my way through Patreon and now the podcast. The stories are refreshing, sobering, and sometimes emotional. But what I like the most is its authenticity. They aren't taking veterans and making them into some generic hero, but highlighting the specific moments the veterans want to share. I haven't heard anything else like it. I recommend reading the stories, listening to the podcast, and celebrating the steps a veteran takes in and out of service. Love what you're doing with the project. Wow, Ava, thank you so much. We appreciate that. What a kind review. We're going to take our time out to show some thanks. And we appreciate you, the listener. We appreciate you for tuning in, and thanks for listening. Warrior, artist, actor, philanthropist, conservationist, purveyor of all things fitness. There are not enough adjectives to describe this man. His career in Force Recon, a true example of everything a Marine wishes to achieve. The legend of Rudy Reyes seems something out of a Marvel or DC comic book. A young boy, bruised and battered, finds his infinite go, and strikes back in defense of his brothers, all the while becoming one of our most elite. His energy will inspire you, his passion a drive to light, and his intelligence the mark of an education no academic institution could instill. Here he is, the one and only Rudy Reyes.
The Veterans Project is a comprehensive essay capturing the legacies of our warfighters, caregivers, and civilians who have stepped forward in defense of our patriotic principles in an effort to capture their stories and to never forget the staggering sacrifices of our nation's finest. This is the Veterans Project podcast, where our legacies are the mission. Here's your host, Tim K.
Welcome to the Veterans Project podcast. My name is Tim K. You might hear some planes crossing overhead. That's okay. We're in Newport Beach. Beautiful Newport Beach.
Isn't it stunning?
It's stunning. Hanging out here with a legend of the Marine community, Recon Marine.
Thank you.
You know, I got to tell a little story, Rudy, because, you know, I kind of wanted to set this up a little bit.
Sure, my brother.
So I was in getting ready to deploy to Iraq in 2009. And I was sitting back on a bunk, and I remember I just had this moment where I was kind of feeling sorry for myself a little bit.
I understand. I've been there.
You know, those pits you get into a little
Sure.
bit. I was feeling lonely. I was feeling kind of cut off. I was feeling like I just was struggling to find my identity in the unit.
I understand.
I was very artistic. I didn't feel like I belonged, like being a grunt, you know, like doing that whole job. I didn't feel robotic. I didn't feel like they did.
Yeah.
You know,
You maybe didn't feel so Crude.
Yes.
Because there's a certain cruelty and rawness in the combat arms, especially in the front lines.
Very.
And I believe now, with perspective, brother, and maybe you'll agree, some of that is part of the armor and the gear that we have to wear too, because what we do is absolutely unfiltered, and sometimes at such an extremity of violence and suffering. Maybe part of our psychological armor that we adopt is that crass, crude, masculine, overman masquerading in adolescence.
Yeah, that's the truth.
And if you're not feeling that, and I never did either. Now I did become hard.
Yeah,
I did become cold clinically, but I was never able to be stuck in the teen years of simply using women's terms to identify with weakness,
right.
and to, in a sense, take on a bully mentality, and just make dick jokes and shit jokes and jokes. That just wasn't me.
I never identified with that.
Yeah, it's not me.
It's not me.
And
that's the beauty of the connection that I found to you.
Thanks,
so I'm
bro.
sitting on that bunk, and my buddy, just feeling, like I said, kind of lost, and I was, reading my Bible, and I was kind of watching DVDs and different things. And my buddy brings me this DVD, and he said, "Tim, I really think you would like this DVD. Like, I want you to watch it." And he pulls open his little album, and he's got this Generation Kill DVD.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I'd never seen it, but I'd heard of it many times. Sure. Yeah. So I pop it into the DVD player, and I put it on, and immediately there's like, Rudy!
Yeah, I start running with the gas
and
mask.
And you start running with the gas
and
mask.
rocking and rolling. All true story.
And all true story.
All true story.
All true story. And then I read but this was years after I'd read the book. I'd actually
read the book,
before
so you
and
were
not realized.
familiar.
Yes, I was familiar, yes. And so then I was realizing, making the connection, there's this guy, Rudy, in this incredible show, which was very well done. And Rudy played himself. He was the only one to play himself in that role. And seeing you, I realized that I could... Your vision and the way that you did things as Recon Marine,
yes,
the way that you attacked target, the way that you trained,
yes,
you were unique. You didn't have to be like everybody else. You
No.
were your own man. You were your own warrior. You had everybody called it kind of fruitiness, or or attached it to some.
I was fabulous.
You were
I
fabulous.
Guess.
Yeah, you were.
I still am.
You definitely still are. Definitely. Trust me, guys. If you were here, you would see he's still fabulous.
I'm an alligator.
Jeans and shirtless right now. He's beautiful. Yeah.
Thank you, brother.
So but capturing that, like the way they did that, and showing you in your real role, I just thought, I can be myself.
Yes, you can.
I don't need
the authentic self.
I got to be able to turn it on when I need to turn it on.
Damn
right?
straight.
When you're going around that corner, you got to turn it on.
Yes.
You're kicking down that door, you got to turn it on.
Yes.
And you got to be turned on even before that.
Yes.
Mentally, but that doesn't mean that you can't be your own character. You can't be your own self, who
Yes.
you are and who you're purveying. But that is you. You
Yes.
grew up that way, and I appreciated your authentic self. Where does the comfort zone come from?
You know what?
We're about to go deep here.
Yeah, I just thought about an analogy.
Yeah.
We do not run around with our M4 on fire all the time. It's unsafe.
Yep.
But as soon as we go from the alert dirt into the combat glide, or contact is imminent, the weapons indexed to the enemy and weapons off safe, ready to rock and roll. Look, we make that decision and we make that switch. Mm-hmm. So we can also make the switch professionally, psychologically, socially, to the warrior killer. It has to become like that. Now, the downside is that when you become a professional warfighter, that is what you do. Right. And you may get lost in the ability to bring yourself back together as a whole thing. To compartmentalize yourself as the predator for the United States government, and then the human who may have wife and children and has a family, or who loves animals and collects action figures and draws comic books like myself. Yeah. To compartmentalize and to switch that, it is it is a must on the battlefield, but back home, it can end up leading to mental illness and fatigue, and then the maladies that go along with that, like depression, and then anxiety, and then the substance abuse, and then the violence, and then you know what comes from there.
Right.
So yes, man, it's interesting, huh? Now that we're at in our lives, isn't it wild, Tim? When's the last time you were in zone? Last time you were in action?
10 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can't you remember it like yesterday?
Yes.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Forever.
Yeah.
Forever. I thought it would fade. Now, a lot of individual missions fade because I don't think about individual missions. To be direct, I did so many in those 3 combat tours, and then being a team leader in 2 of them. Sometimes my bros will remind me, and I'm like, "Whoa, I did that! I accomplished that!" And I'm amazed. But then again, I'm not amazed. That's why we were so conditioned, and we were amongst each other who all had the same set of values and the same set of training and the same set of standards. There's nothing you can't do if you have a clica, if you've got a freaking tribe, if you've got a platoon of men like that.
That singular mindset strikes.
Yes, continuous reinforcement too.
Right.
To be first, be fast, be strong.
And anything else is cowardice.
Yes. Shame-based.
Yeah.
However, if you've already selected genetically and socially and energetically men like that,
right, at your level,
you got most of it is already done. The rest is just the polish.
Yeah.
The finishing school. It's interesting, you know, the gentleman that wrote On Killing, On Combat. What's his name, brother? Grossman.
Grossman, yes. There you go. Yep.
When I read On Killing, it was before I'd been killing people, killing enemy.
We'll differentiate there for sure.
Yes,
yeah.
and you know, yes. Yeah. Well, and because I don't, you know, there's no way to consider when you're a humanist. How can you kill a person? You can't.
Right.
But you can kill your enemy.
Yeah.
Because you are indoctrinated, and it is your mission. And this is not show friends; it's show business. When you freaking sign that contract and you go through that freaking millions of dollars of crucible and pedigree refinement to go out there when your country calls, it's your ultimate validation. And so I never questioned any of that.
That's beautiful. How do you get to that place? How do you get to that place where you don't question that? Where is that?
I think for me it came out of love. The love of my men and how much they loved me. It's so wild. You know, some citizens, and I call them citizens now, not civilians, because I think that just as if I've had a difficulty bringing myself back to a wholeness, just as I sometimes still hurt because I don't know where I fit in. My self-concept is now becoming more realistic for the environment that I'm in.
Right.
But it is still absolutely made and born and bred from the cloth of combat and warrior. That will never leave.
Right.
Even I still have a hard time making the bridge between them both and letting them coalesce.
Yeah.
Many of our brothers and sisters out there are going through the same thing. Why I can now do it, well, what has been successful for me to coalesce is to get back to the essence. It made me so successful as a warrior and a fighter.
Yeah.
And that was love of my team and brothers and the love back. And with that much support, the levity, the happiness, my brothers and I, in Von Krause's platoon, and my team, G and Aviao and McCoy, we had a laughter and a levity that could happen immediately after dropping bombs and in a heavy firefight or doing Trojan horse, immediately after dead checking enemies, putting bullets in their head, and mopping up after a counter ambush. We were immediately we had this saying called "turn every day into a party." Yes,
I kind of love that.
Yes, it was G Money, Bo, Fireground Leather. He's an amazing
That's awesome.
recon marine and now a firefighter and
Turn every day into a party. I
We
like
went
that.
we went to the big PX, I think at TQ or at the air station there in Iraq.
Gotcha.
And anytime we got to go to the PX, we're like, wow, what kind of cool shit can we get? And we're so into our shit. We're so into our aesthetic.
Right.
We always go look at the new gear, stuff that we can get, little flashlights.
Got to find those stunner shades.
Yeah,
baby.
Yes, anything. Or if I can find a really rad pair of goggles. I always brought my own Oakley goggles and Bole goggles.
I can't take that stock stuff.
Yeah,
man.
I always had some orange on it or some yellow. You know what I mean? I mean, just rocking that shit out there. I mean, I was a superstar in combat, you know. And he found some chicken and biscuits. And we get some snacks. We were living on something called the Soul Snatcher. We would take a half of container of instant coffee in an Nalgene and then fill the rest up with water.
Okay.
And so it was a syrup of coffee. Mm-hmm. And we would take one sip and you'd start twitching and ticking right there. We called it the Soul Snatcher. Your ass would not sleep for 2 days.
I love
and
that.
so we had some Soul Snatcher. It was about 120 degrees out. Mm-hmm. And he brought back these chicken and biscuits. And on the freaking lid of the cracker box, it said, turn every day into a party. Immediately that was torn off, cut out, put on the molding of the Humvee right where the driver sits, taped on there, and that was our theme.
Yeah.
I mean, we were in the worst place on the planet. We were in Fallujah and Ramadi. Right. And the freaking Triangle of Death.
Yeah.
And we turned every day into a party. Now that kind of love.
Yeah.
That's what I'm doing now with look what we have. We have our brothers and sisters in the veteran community now. I have so much love now. And I'm seeing this wonderful woman now, and she reminds me, because sometimes she sees me get down, she reminds me, Rudy, so many people love you. Yeah, and that gives me the strength. Yeah. And that's what's brought me closer to a reconciliation of what and who I was then and why. That's awesome. And who I am now and who I want to be in the future. I take back those good pieces, and the good is the love and the care and the sharing. We all shared everything we had. It was any bit of chow. My wife at the time, Cherie, she sent me a bottle of vodka, but masquerading in a water bottle. I was like, why the f*** is she sending me water? Yeah. And she sent me some camping meals and some noodles. So I freaking take a drink of the water. Whoa! And we G Money and the whole team and Witted and a couple other cats from the freaking platoon. We watched fashion TV and watched some freaking supermodels strut and drank some vodka in our silkies, and we all shared our ramen noodles and the meat together. And that was a sense of community and sharing. And I find that in my life and make sure to seek it out if I don't have it every day. Force Blue absolutely is an outgrowth of that. Recon Sniper Foundation is an outgrowth of that. The Veterans Project is an outgrowth of that. Sornex is an outgrowth of that. You notice there's a throughway. I was with my lady, and I'm not going to blow up her spot right now. She got her own fans, but maybe I'll tell you later. And my mentor, idol of my teen years and transformative years into manhood, Ian Asbury. He's the lead singer of the Cult. And he is now a mentor and a brother of mine, an older brother. And I love him dearly. Truly one of the most sensitive, most brilliant men, courageous men I know. We were with him 3 or 4 hours last night, eating sushi and talking about Kurosawa and David Bowie, talking about transformation and transcendence from the mortal into the eternal. And we spent such quality time in the same kind of love and fabric of community I have with my people now. Yeah. It's the same as I had in the unit. That's awesome. So that's my secret. Yeah. That's my force multiplier.
I want to track back to that because, I want people to have a little better of an explanation of who you are exactly. But first of all, You're beautiful.
Oh, thank you. You know what?
We're smiling with our eyes right now.
Oh, and are you recording there too? You'll see it, baby.
You'll see it,
yeah. This morning, my girl, Jade, she always tells me, oh, God, you're beautiful. And I'm like, it takes one to know one. She says, does it? And I said, well, in your case, it does.
But not always. But with you, yes.
And you know what? And this is kind of funny too. Like, you know, when I got into movies and TV and started having some modicum of celebrity and notoriety, you know, the chicks are all over you. And so I got all the, you know, supermodels and the actresses and everybody. They all want to, they all want some of that raw warrior,
Marine recon.
Yeah, they become groupies a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Or they want to be. I mean, they're in a world where masculinity is just two-dimensional on the screen, and a lot of posturing, but it's all a show.
Not real and authentic.
And there's nothing, and there's no go.
Yeah.
And I'm all go.
Yeah. Well, I know that. Yep.
Yeah. But I wasn't attracted to them. It's hard for me to be attracted to people. And then sometimes, but a couple of times, like, I ended up chatting it up and freaking making out with a girl that's kind of chubby. And my homeboys say, Rudy, what's the you know, you got the supermodel over there. And, you know, this girl's just all right. And I said, you don't understand. I see the beauty inside.
Yeah.
I see the beauty inside.
Yeah, that's important, man.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's from within and throughout.
It's part of that infinite go.
It is. Yeah. It is, bro.
So just to give you a little background, Rudy Reyes is a recon Marine. He's a legend of the recon community. He was in Generation Kill. He's been in a ton of various films and TV shows, and he's doing a ton for the community as just a fighter for man.
Yes.
Fighter for mankind, right?
Yes.
Getting the word out there about the spirituality, the emotional aspects of what it takes to grow, right? Because when we get out, we have those struggles. Everybody does.
Yes, they do.
Some in more places, some in harder, and some are in harsher spots. Yes. But we all have those struggles. So, Rudy, you're a veteran of recon. How many years did you do again?
I did 7 years as a recon Marine, and then I contracted for another 10, and then ultimately working for State Department doing counterterrorism,
right?
Teaching and training before Navy EOD and other Spec Ops bomb and dog people to immediately attach to SOCOM units running and gunning in the fight. I came up in training before the War on Terror, so I was perfectly manicured and positioned to fight, and to fight well, obviously, because we're still alive. All of my teammates are alive.
That's amazing.
Now, some of my brothers who went on to other teams eventually were killed, and eventually even recon and MARSOC took losses, and we have. I remember the first losses I took in recon were my brothers dying in training, and now we've had a few die. Because they have succumbed to the disease of suicide, and that is what I'm fighting so hard against with Force Blue and Recon Sniper Foundation, the Veterans Project. Any person, any organization that wants to be solution-based, I'm there.
Right.
And we talked today on the drive up here that I've got a lot of work going on, thank goodness, because I need to make some money. I'm moving. I'm in the process of moving to Los Angeles, and I want to have a place for my woman and I, because I've never felt more emotionally and spiritually grounded, and Ian's very happy, and my community here is very happy. And you said, so you're not doing, so no more free work. I said, yeah, no more free work. And then I'm like, well, actually, yeah, I still do free work because it's a labor of love, and it is not work. When I'm doing things for our people and the families that support us, it's not work.
That's beautiful. How did you? So you did 3 tours as a recon Marine. You do the invasion in Iraq, which is tantamount to our success.
Yeah, it was.
It was.
It was so magnificent. Actually, it was based on the Rommel technique.
Yeah, talk about that a little bit. What was
Sure.
the dynamic of that like? I mean, at the time, for those who don't understand, like, we weren't rolling on, we didn't have all this technology we had even 10 years later. You know, we're rolling around in soft top Humvees and, you know, where a bullet goes through the wrong
For
way
sure.
and you're for sure dead.
Everything. I mean, the body of the Humvee's not armored.
Right.
That's just. I mean, it's 5.56 or 7.62, and of course fragmentation goes through it like a dang like a freaking railroad spike through a piece of tinfoil.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
And we didn't even have roofs. We didn't have doors. What we did have is an extreme level of alertness and violence and brilliance in the basics. No matter what environment and no matter what the friction, warfighters, the baseline is straight up infantry tactics and infantry discipline. Whether you're a recon man, a pararescueman, a SEAL, ranger, whether you're a truck driver,
Right.
whether you're admin, when the bullets are flying and the RPGs are coming in, everybody is a rifleman. And the units that are the best in the world are the units that always do the right thing
Right.
every time.
Yeah.
And it's brilliance in the basics. General Mattis was renowned for saying it. I learned it much earlier in martial art and in sport. I still train in many ways the same way I did when I was 8 years old,
Yeah.
because fundamentals, mechanics, and flow state, that never changes. And it's, as you said earlier, the foundation.
Yes, the foundation. And to get to where you got, you know, coming up, you're young, you know, growing up in in and out of foster homes, taking care of your brothers, you know, foundationally, there was no concrete. There was nothing there. It was shaky, right?
Yes.
Like growing up, lacking that at home, finding struggle around every corner in a hard part of life. How did you make it through that? And can you tell people kind of what that was like growing up for you? What?
Sure. You know what? It's funny. As you're describing it, my first thought is what foundation I had.
Right.
I had something to believe in. I had to protect my little brothers.
Beautiful.
That is a foundation.
Sure.
But physically and emotionally, there was no foundation. I grew up from a broken family from Jump Street. My mother was very poor and emotionally poor. Spiritually poor. She was damaged. She was a beautiful young Mexican-American woman from the border of Texas and Mexico. She'd been abused physically and sexually too. It was a very male-dominated culture there.
Right.
This is where there's a difference between masculinity and being a misogynist.
Yeah.
There's a difference to being the baddest with that can change diapers
Yeah.
than being some scumbag on Wall Street
Right.
who pays for sex.
Yeah.
It's a big difference.
We've been seeing a little bit of that recently.
Yes,
huh?
you have a lot. The whole Me Too movement. And, you know, I take a lot of pride in this, Tim. A lot of pride. No one can ever say Rudy Reyes took a dime or a penny or took a favor to leverage himself, nor has he ever leveraged, Rudy Reyes has never leveraged his energy, his celebrity, or his force to do anything wrong to a woman, ever.
That's awesome.
And yes, it's the standard.
right thing to do.
It's the standard. It's
It's sad that I even have to say that's awesome because
yes,
it's what you should
it's
do.
chivalry.
Yeah.
It's the truth, and the round table lives on, and I'm building it, and I'm a part of it. In these ethics and ethos and the moral courage I had was galvanized very young because I had Michael and Caesar. I was hurt and abused and neglected. We were passed around so many different places. I probably went to 20 different schools.
Wow.
Imagine having to make friends, and then after a while you can't make friends. You're too dirty. My brothers and I, the poverty, I don't think this level of poverty exists in this country anymore, except on our Native American reservations, where they do. And we need to work on that. Michael and Caesar and I had lice, and then we had worms. We used to, this is not an exaggeration, we used to have to fight the rats off of us at night. because the house we were living in was infested with rats and roaches. And I found a cubby hole with cement that the rats couldn't get. And I'd put my brothers and I in there, and we would take old cowboy boots and put them on our hands so we could fight and smash the rats if they came.
Wow.
And we were little. I was maybe 10 or 11. Michael and Caesar's a year and a half younger, and Michael's a year younger than him. It's funny. I always saw myself as a father to them, and I always thought I was much older. Now when we look at our ages, we're very close in age. Yeah. But I was a father, and they were my kids. That was the only foundation I had. We went from one place to another, and it always got worse and worse and worse. Wow. A downward spiral. We had no food, we had no medicine, and we were embarrassed. Imagine how embarrassing that we got sent home from school because of our lice. And then we had to, and you know what? It's so freaking horrible. The people that were taking care of us at the time, they didn't bother to buy medicine for our lice, so they just shaved our heads.
Wow.
And we just looked like freaking concentration camp kids.
Yeah.
And we had hand-me-down clothes by then. I had shoes that were 2 sizes too big. And I had a bad dental problem, and then my teeth started rotting from an infection that was not treated, and then the infection got into my sinus and behind my eyeball, and I started having pressure in my eye, and I was smelling garbage all the time.
Gosh.
And it was the rots in my face, and I started developing a lesion. I have a big gap in my gum here because it was infected so bad. Then I started getting this big boil there every day. So I'd have to cut it open and let all the pus come out.
Oh, my gosh.
Then I'd try to find some antiseptic of any sort and just push it in there and feel the pain. Maybe this is why I was conditioned to feeling pain.
Yeah.
I was feeling pain so bad and smelling garbage every day. And yet still, every day, across the street, to the playground, to the monkey bars, to the swing set, and I would practice gymnastics and self-taught and push myself. And I would read I treasured my comic book collection. Yeah. And that was one thing I took with me everywhere. And my special stories of Daredevil and Wolverine and how the X-Men saved the world over and over again, once even saved the universe and never took any credit. These are the heroes that inspired me. And of course, Stallone, Rocky Balboa, John Rambo, of course, Bruce Lee. These things made me believe that heroes exist and that heroes will champion the day, and therefore I can champion the day. That's how I got through those times, and eventually when I thought my mother was coming to rescue me. She rescued me she retrieved me in South Texas, and my brother Michael, and then she put us away in the boys' home. And to be so close to being rescued and loved, and then really it just being a way station to another institution. And, I have to work on forgiving my mom. I still do, because she kept us away in another state so she could continue to collect the welfare. And it was just so... I just came from that kind of dirt. But, the Zen Buddhism says that from the murkiest of swamps, a beautiful lotus can grow.
That's powerful.
As soon as I had stability in the boys' home, I got my teeth. I got some fake teeth put in. Yeah. Got the infection out, and then I got to eat. I got clothes that fit, and the clothes that fit mean a lot. And this is probably why, Tim, to this very day, I'm very particular how I look. Yeah. And I wear clothes that show off my lines. Yeah. My body is my artwork that I have been carving since a boy. Yeah. Why would I let it go? And why would I hide it?
True.
I've been carving it since I was sick in the streets of Corpus Christi, bullied and beaten almost every day at school, and still fighting on and training. Why would I cover it up now? I've come so far, and there's a part of me that's still that little boy, still seeks to refine and carve more. It's the boys' home, the Omaha Home for Boys, Bobby Orr, they became my finishing school. They gave me food, pride, clothes that fit, church clothes, wrestling, a wrestling mat, weights that I could lift anytime I wanted. I tried out for track when I was in 6th grade before I got to the boys' home. With these shoes 2 sizes too big. I was the fastest, most talented hurdler and distance and mid-distance guy and a pretty good sprinter.
Cool.
Sick. And when the coach said, you really got talent, come to practice, but you need to get some shoes that fit you, I smiled, or I grinned. I never smiled because my teeth are really bad. I always kept my lips together. That's probably why I smile so much now. That sound of that jet is that feeling I had when the coach gave me those propers and said simply and inadvertently in a callous way and in an insensitive way. Yes, please come back tomorrow. Just have some shoes that fit. There was no way I could get shoes.
Wow.
So I went home and I cried. I knew I couldn't go back, and I knew that every time I saw that coach, I would do everything to ignore because it hurt too bad for me to. I was so ashamed to say, I can't come because I can't get any new shoes. These are the only ones I got. And I'm saving the change I make from drawing pictures in the lunchroom so that Michael and Caesar and I can have food to eat. And we're just living on bologna and white bread and mustard at home. That's it. And sometimes living with nothing. So I was so ashamed. I was so shame-driven when I got to that boys' home, and I started feeling good, started feeling strong. My gosh, I never looked back.
Wow.
I have never looked back.
And did that transition, when you decided to join the Marine Corps, at what point was that? When did you say, I really want to be a United States Marine?
I was always enthralled with the hero archetype, Campbell-esque.
Right.
And since John Rambo, and yet, why I did not join the military after high school, instead pursued martial arts. The concept of killing anybody was just still too much. And I was not sure if I could conform. In some ways, I mean, you touched upon it before, what an individualist I am. But I was not sure about the military. Desert Storm just happened. I immersed myself. Well, I'll get to Desert Storm. So yes, I immersed myself. I thought about the Marine Corps then, but then the war ended in 3 days, and I'm like, well, the country doesn't need me.
Right.
So I immersed myself in Chinese Kung Fu and Eastern philosophy and Eastern martial art, karate as well, and judo, and then started fighting for Chunman Sit and doing very well in the Chinese Kung Fu and Chinese martial arts circuit.
You're being humble about that, by the way.
Oh, well, I was okay. I was good.
There was talk about you and Bruce Lee shared something at the time.
Yes, well, it's a little convoluted. Bruce Lee, who studied at the Jingwu Academy, and he portrayed, I believe it's Chen Sen, who, if you saw the movie Chinese Connection, the Jingwu master who fought against the Japanese occupation pre-World War II. The martial art college, the grand champion and the titles for all disciplines, empty hand forms, two-man sets, fencing, weapons forms, and then full contact fighting. I have the same amount of gold medals as Bruce Lee does. Wow. And I have a lot of medals, because I competed for a while. And it's funny, I was not glamorous, though. All I did is I just did what I still do to this day. Really put my mind and my soul into what I'm doing, and brilliance in the basics. Chunman Sit, the creator of the concept Infinite Go, he told me, Rudy, you need 4 punches each side, 3 kicks each side. You must have an answer for the wrestling. That means you must have an answer for the wrestling. You must have an answer for the wrestling. 3 takedown, and no get tired. Number 1 technique, no get tired.
Oh.
So drills and fitness. No wonder I'm fit.
Yeah,
I mean,
no
this
wonder.
this is the way I was raised. And of course, wrestling is all capacity. A little bit. It's got technique, sure, but technique absolutely slips away when you're breathing hard.
Right.
So your fitness needs to be so high that you can still use your brain. This is all stuff that we know in the military, don't we?
Right.
Isn't
Yes,
this?
sir.
This is the precepts of all martial way, martial craft, martial art. While I was fighting, I saw a documentary. This is how important media, film, television, books, literature, music, why it's so important. It changes lives. It inspires and directs young people.
Right.
And it can direct them in such a beautiful way. I saw a documentary produced by Woody Harrelson about the genocide and an orphanage run in Kosovo during the fight between the former Hungary and the fallout of Serbia and Croatia. And those kids reminded me of my brothers and I. The next day I saw in the paper that President Clinton was putting boots on the ground. And right there sparked again, Rudy, you must. It is not ethically correct if other young men are going to fight and possibly die if you do not do your part. I did not think about special operations. I didn't even really know of such a thing. It wasn't because I was not a gun person. I really didn't know much about it. But I was a Bushido person. Right. I was a Hagakure person. I was a Dao Te Ching person. And it was boiling in my mind for a year. And then when I saw my father, Rudy Reyes Sr., who was a Marine, it struck me like a lightning bolt, and I went right to the recruiter. And they tried to get me to do the mechanics and all these other things because my IQ or what have you. But I demanded infantry. I had no idea what I was getting into.
Right.
But that's how it started, and that was in '98, and it's been a tour de force ever since. When I was most unhealthy is when I was refracted like almost through a prism from my original self and my original passion, which is to be of service and to be brave. Because with bravery comes self-respect, and that's something you can work on every day. And with that positive concept and having self-respect and looking at the mirror and respecting the man looking back, everything is possible. Right. You're changing the world because first you've changed yourself.
Yeah.
That's how I got into the Marine Corps, and because of God and because of Zen Buddhism and because of a plan that is larger than myself, and I am just simply a chess piece on the chessboard, or actually on the board of Go, which is a much more in-depth strategy game from China.
Definitely, yep.
And Go, interesting, Chunman sit Go, because that's what you say, Laludi, between Go and Go is Go. And between Go and that Go is Go. Yeah. And between that Go and that Go, there is Go. This is Go. It's Go. I said, it's infinite Go.
That's the concept of infinite Go.
Yes, that's where it came from. And I put the term infinite, and Sit, Chunman Sit, Sifu, Chunman Sit is a master philosopher and loves quantum physics. Always his classes were about quantum physics, manifested physically. Quantum physics manifested with dance called martial art.
Yeah, talk about that. Talk about a little bit about that transitional phase, and so you have the Marine Corps, you have the recon world, hard-charging warfighter.
Yes,
get it done.
Overstimulation was the baseline.
Yeah, that's the baseline.
Which guys like us thrive on.
Right.
The downside to that is coming to a place of average, immense depression.
Yeah.
And that is the first thing I noticed was depression, and then also hypervigilance. So imagine that dichotomy of depression, down in the dumps, and then redlining. Red line. Always on guard. Yeah. So I was training about 7 or 8 hours a day for a few years afterwards.
Wow.
Just to feel normal.
Oh, jeez.
And I could never sleep.
Was this right after the Corps that you had these feelings?
Yeah.
Where you were
immediately.
hitting those dark spots?
Immediately.
Yeah.
because I was gone from the platoon after fighting in Fallujah and coming back home and kicking ass out there with my team, doing some heavy stuff. 3 weeks later, I was out of the Marine Corps.
Wow.
Yeah, I extended out there. I was not going to leave my team.
Right.
And I was just not equipped for the citizen world. I was not equipped for out here. So I was a workaholic. I was a boxing coach and started personal training. And then I started drinking at night to go to sleep. And my metabolism's so high. If I did not fall asleep after my first 3 drinks immediately, my body burned off the alcohol and I was not drunk anymore and I'd have to drink more. And then there was a stay of execution called Generation Kill. And it was just simply that, a stay of execution. They gave me an immense amount of work to do and something to believe in. It's my unit again. And I'm doing war again.
Yeah.
And I'm constantly stimulated. And that just got me further along in time, Chronos, but it got me nowhere with Kairos, with Lifetime. All those pains, maladies, and fears were waiting for me as soon as the production was over. And
what was that quiet spot like?
Oh, it was the quiet was deafening, and it was frightful. And I was lost and didn't know what to do and had nobody to turn to because nobody was talking about anything back then. And I felt very ashamed that I was feeling so weak and afraid and I didn't know what to do. I couldn't hold a job. I couldn't do anything except physically compete, and then I got into contracting, and then doing some television survival shows, constantly stimulated. But in between, nothing. And then I discovered drugs. I just discovered cocaine, and so that was my go-to. In between, I would be high. Actually, no, I would be baseline by being overstimulated with tough, extreme jobs and counterterrorism, or I would be baseline being extremely lit on blow and alcohol. But I never felt high. I felt equal, except it was killing my body.
Wow.
And it was killing my mind.
Yeah.
You know, you wouldn't sleep for days. I wouldn't sleep for days and days and days.
Yeah.
And I got very underweight. When you first interviewed me, I was just getting out of that.
Right.
And all the while, my mental and spiritual and emotional self, it was dying, and it was crying, and it was needing help. And there was no help. There was no help back then. I went to the VA. First, they tell me it's no problem. I'm not having any problems. They just gave me a bunch of medication. Then, to this day, the VA gives me anxiety, extreme anxiety.
What's the base of that?
Going there when I needed help and getting nothing.
Yeah.
Getting worse than nothing. And then my people closest to me will tell you that I have an extremely hard time asking for help. It's because I asked for help when I was 5 or 6 years old. It did not come. I asked for help when I was 8 or 9 years old. It did not come. I asked for help in 2007, and it did not come. I asked for help in 2012. It did not come. So I just don't ask for help. And you know what? Some of that's okay. Some of it's not. I have, due to therapy and due to immense self-work and being put away, having the privilege of being put away at a mental rehabilitation place for veterans, the Veterans Village of San Diego, I had time for reflection. Even the Veterans Village of San Diego did not save me, though. It just gave me a tactical pause, a year-long tactical pause.
Right.
And
Would you say that was your lowest mark there? Like as
Yes.
far as where you reached a point in your life?
I thought it was the lowest. There was one more that came after, and that's after I lost the ability to see my son, Dylan. And Dylan is my everything. I have a lovely daughter, Belladonna, but I have a great relationship with her mom and her dad. And Bella is a shining light. I have had a really hard time with Dylan's mother's parents and Dylan's mother, and I've been working really hard at rebuilding that. Some of that was because of me, because I was strung out hard on drugs, and I was very dangerous. I was fighting a lot back then. I was street fighting a lot back then, and I must have seen from the outside an absolute crazed animal, but I didn't know what else to do. And nobody was giving us men help back then.
Right.
There was nothing then.
There's nothing.
There was nothing, and I don't think people out here can quite understand it, because now we have our American flags, and you're wearing Free Eddie, and I've got Force Blue, and the veteran community is becoming mainstream, and we're talking about these things in the media every day. Back then there was nothing.
No.
And the shame I had of being once a great warrior with respect in my community and love, to now being completely lost and not being able to see my little baby angel Dylan. I was mad at myself so bad. Or I wasn't mad at myself, I was disgusted. So it got worse. I was in between. I was with a woman that was not good for me. A super brilliant woman and very beautiful woman, but not emotionally available for me. And because I had such poor self-esteem, I continued to try to prove to her that I was somebody special. She could never give it to me. And I realized maybe nobody can. Now I see that I had to give it to myself.
Yeah.
And then trying to appease Dylan's mom. And then I went back to Dylan's mom too, but I was not emotionally and spiritually safe or available. I was still hurting and still lost. I had no tools yet. And when they took my little son, and I had to go to court, and they made me, I was made to look as a damaged killer for the U.S. government, and a contractor, a mercenary, and my scout sniper background was put up, and that I'm so violent that I become famous for it. I mean, just look at the books written about me in my unit. Right. I got me a bunch of drugs, and after that court date, I went into the car with my little brother Michael, and I broke down crying. And Michael was crying, and I went home, drove back to Kansas City, and I had my Glock. I got a lot of drugs and started drinking and just chopping up my cocaine, and then started calling my friends. And then eventually, after a few days, I was dropping away. And so I took my pistol and I put it in my mouth, and I was finished. And then some force told me, with words, I can't explain the words. It's just this feeling, and it was God that said it's going to be okay. And I pulled my weapon from my mouth, and I had a feeling that I was going to be okay, and that I'm going to be taken care of. I will be sheltered, and I will get through this. And I felt a levity and some kind of warmth in myself. The first time I felt warmth in myself in a long time. I sobered up. I got rid of my guns in the house. And I started that long journey back to the real Rudy Reyes.
Yeah.
And shortly after that, Force Blue was discovered and created by Jim Ritteroff, myself, and Keith Somm.
Yeah, I want to hear about that.
And,
tell us about Force Blue.
Well, and ever since then, Force Blue is my mission of redemption and virtue. We utilize combat divers, special operations combat divers from all forces and from other countries. We repurpose and retrain them with new technologies and abilities from the science community and conservation community to now deploy doing cutting-edge conservation work, specifically in the coral reefs. Now we are also doing turtle rescues and turtle studies to help combat diseases. We are looking also at whale and shark missions in the future. Think about the Justice League of the ocean. That is who we are. And it's a team, it's a family, it's an aesthetic, and it's a way of life. And it's growing exponentially. ForceBlueTeam.org, a fully transparent nonprofit. We are absolutely steeped in honor, courage, commitment, and our core values are betterment, buoyancy, and belonging. Every single penny that we raise goes right to our schoolhouse to create new teams. We're creating Team 3 in October, and soon we hope to have some massive corporate sponsors, and so that we don't have to fundraise anymore. I've been in and out of Washington, D.C. and done fundraisers. Ian Asbury, Richard McWhorter, people on the art side of the house, music side of the house, science side, naval special warfare. They've all been contributors, and they're alumni. We've got Zach Brown, we've got Bert Sorenex with the Radioactive shirt. All proceeds. Nama Slay battle patch by Vera Staleka. Everyone's getting on board because it's a mission we all can believe in. Think of this. It doesn't matter if your politics or your social issues are on the left or the right or the middle. When it comes to conservation and saving this planet, we're all in the same boat. It doesn't matter if you get in on the left side or the right side, baby, or from the freaking bow or the bow or the stern. We're getting in the same boat, and we all need to freaking stroke together. We all need to paddle through that surf zone together and save this planet. And I believe that is why it's so successful. We have just partnered with the NFL.
That's awesome. Wow.
Yes, I will be at the Super Bowl this year. You will see Force Blue, our little commercial on the Super Bowl. I'm very proud of this. I'm very proud of myself. This is the most pride, it's the most love and honor I've had for myself since the United States Marine Corps. I mean, when you see my face now, you see how clear it is. My eyes are clear. My body and my soul now permeated with hope and love. I'm redeemed. And I take this saying from my little brother Michael. Rudy Reyes does not have bad days. He may have some tough moments, but I do not have bad days.
That's awesome.
It's Force Blue. And since Force Blue, now my acting and media career has exploded. I've got some television shows right now in the works. I'm shooting a pilot for History next week or the week after. I've got bigger things on the horizon. I've got some features as well. Semper Fi will be coming out soon with Jai Courtney, my boy, Australian warrior from freaking rugby. Henry, my director, who also directed the Super Bowl commercial, Marine Corps Super Bowl commercial, which he had me come on there to work as the AD and a military advisor and motivator and casting.
Cool.
Henry Alex Rubin, I love you, bro. You've been instrumental in helping me in the last few years. It's interesting. I have all these Knights of the Round Table that have brought me back to Camelot.
That's cool.
And I celebrate it, and I celebrate them.
How, within the art space, Rudy, I talk about this very often, obviously, in what I do. It's like, for me, the Veterans Project is a movement.
Yes.
I'm going to use that term all the time because we are bridging the gap through our stories, through our legacies. Our legacies are the mission. We tell these stories. We bring these, legacies to people in this format through black and white photos and now a podcast. Storytelling, I believe, is foundational to creating change, right?
Yes.
Awareness is only awareness if it stays awareness. But through action, you're able to create a culture of actual change. For you as an artist in your growth, and I've seen you grow in the past 3 or 4 years. I mean, leaps and bounds.
Thanks, my man.
From where you were even then. And to be clear, I didn't know you very well personally, but I could still see the troubled side.
Oh, yeah.
I could see the edge there. I mean, we remember that, being out on 6 a little bit.
Yeah.
Little edge.
And I was doing well up until I had a few drinks.
A couple comments came flying.
And then somebody did not show me respect.
Right.
Next thing you know, I'm ready to freaking fight and kill. And
I remember Andy looking at me like,
"Yep,
bro, if you wrap him up, we're gonna have to both wrap him up."
Yes.
Super hard.
I'm glad I didn't know that that's what you were thinking, but that's good thinking.
Yeah.
That's good thinking because I was totally target fixated on old boy, ready to freaking wreck his world. Yes, there has been so much growth, bro.
But what I was getting to within that, sorry to cut you off.
Yeah, go ahead.
But you as an artist have grown so much. It's very clear that you're connected to those better feelings, to your emotions a lot more, to feeling the motivation of what you're doing. How have you gotten there within those past few years? Like, what is the importance of this world to you and the movement? of art.
Thank you so much for your project too, brother, and your friendship and your brotherhood. You've been wonderful in my life. You and I have grown a lot, man. Sundance was excellent.
Yeah, that was fun.
And throw a little shout out to MVP.
Yeah.
And our boy.
Emerging vets and players.
Yes.
Nate,
yes,
Denver.
Nate Boyer and Denver and Jenny Lemus. Thank you.
Yeah.
All of you. All of you. That's how I got here, bro. I've had people like Paul Wyman in my life, who was a boot at Recon in 2003 or 2002. And he became a freaking scout sniper and a warrior and fought overseas and stacked more bodies than me. He stayed by my side. I've had Bert Sorn. I've had Brandon Lilly Dirk Woodski, Brady Tatonka. I've seen my son Dylan a few times. I have Belladonna and her family. I have the true believers. I have transformational stories that are told to me from people who've been following me and reading my book. I've got Echo and Ramadi, another brother of mine.
Yeah, I've heard about that one.
If you have not read Scott Husing's Echo and Ramadi, then you have not read our generation's Platoon.
Cool.
You have not read our generation's The Things They Carried. I look at this hall of heroes that I exist in now.
Yeah.
Here, we'll get back to that after this.
Yeah, we will. Yep.
Also,
I like that point too, because you were talking about Echo Ramadi too.
Yes.
Gez is always talking about that.
Oh, wait till you read it.
On him.
Yes. Did you do it yet?
Yeah, Gez. Yeah, Durant. Yeah.
Oh, did you do one on Husing?
No, I didn't.
You need to.
Yeah.
What an orator.
Yeah.
What a thinker. What a true scholar warrior.
Yeah, you read it. It's good.
It's not good. It's great. It's great.
I need to read it, man.
Yes, Scott Husing, great.
Yeah.
Enlisted devil dog officer, been there, done that. His war room / man cave at his ranch, the Temecula Ranch.
He lives in Temecula.
Yes.
I didn't know that, yeah.
Oh, bro, he's right here. We'll coordinate it since you're out here if he's around.
Yeah.
He loves to speak about his work because his work is about the men and about the journey home.
That's awesome.
His ranch in Temecula, my boy Heath from Australia, my man Heath Williamson.
Yeah, Heath.
You know Heath.
I know Heath. Yeah.
He calls it. He doesn't know American English for. So we're driving there, and he sees Temecula, and he's ADD, and he doesn't read very well because his mind moves too fast. So he called it the Tarantula Ranch. So from then on, it's called the Tarantula Ranch. Him and freaking Scott Husing are super tight.
Yeah.
Williamson, of course, is the lights guy.
Right.
Right. He is the man, Firefly Lighting, and so he brought. Man, this is the kind of people I have around in my life. He brought lights to Scott's house and strung them up for his barn, for his horses. This is the kind of family. This is the new Camelot that we're building. And are we scarred and wounded knights? Yes, but we are healing, and those scars will never go away. But we are knights nonetheless, and we can polish this armor, and we can absolutely hone the sword, not of war and of violence, but of truth and wisdom. This is how I'm doing it, bro. And I'm about it every single day. As you can see, I always have to get in my PT.
Yeah.
And I think about it. I forget that my looks, the physique that I've sculpted and created, that it's so different than others.
Everybody looks at you
right.
as soon as you walk past.
And as I was
true.
As I was contemplating doing my dips and my bands and sun gods unapologetically in my jeans because I forgot my freaking Force Blue Speedo. So I trained in my jeans, as you see me do. Olympic weight lift 2. I don't give a shit.
You'll lift in anything, man. You would lift in saran wrap.
That's right,
matter,
brother.
dude.
I'm the damn honey badger of freaking workout clothes. I don't give a shit. So, right?
I just pictured you in saran wrap. And that kind of like
that'll be the next photo shoot. That'll be the next
That's
photo
it right
shoot
there, yeah.
for sure. So, it is when I'm training, I'm like, well, why are people drawn to me? And at first, maybe just to the line and the aesthetic. I've been pushing and creating myself in the Greek aesthetic since a little boy, and I forget. I'll be 48 in December. It's four decades of this every day. Well, no wonder there's something different and special happening. That's my secret.
How does that mindset happen?
It's the bedrock.
Every day. How does that every day? I mean, there are days you got to not be feeling great, right? You're not feeling necessarily like getting after it.
I'm injured. I'm injured sometimes. Yeah. I'm wounded and injured. I couldn't walk for 4 days after freaking crushing that Boston Marathon. Oh. So I just lifted weights and did pull-ups instead. I got hurt in a Spartan race evolution from being stuck in a plane for 20 hours. My hip, I have a really bad injury from a parachute landing fall in the Marine Corps and a really bad left foot that's had surgery on it from that parachute landing fall and combat dive missions. I go through pain, but I know, just as you know you must breathe or you will die from asphyxiation, I must move my body or I will die. And I will drown. So I move my body. Look did you see how I eat? I pace.
Yep.
I pace with everything. And when I work out, I pace in between. I keep moving. And there's you're
not a sit down kind of guy.
No, the analogy with sharks, how beautiful, and they are apex in their predatory world, but are the healthiest, or they are the paramount sign of a healthy ecosystem.
Always moving.
Yeah, and they're always moving to process that oxygen in the water. Yeah. I'm processing the oxygen of life and passion. I keep myself moving, and with that movement, the brain works. The brain working, the heart space can open up, and then everything is possible. It's really that simple for me. Getting the blood flow and the sweat. You notice I almost always just train outdoors. I train in nature.
Absolutely.
It's aligning myself with Mother Earth, aligning myself with cosmic energy. I did a talk at Power Athlete Symposium. Wellborn's incredible community.
Yeah, Wellborn.
Oh, what a brilliant man. Yeah. What a brilliant man. All of his people text everybody.
He's out there in Houston, right?
He's in Austin.
Austin.
And
yeah,
a dear brother of mine. What a brain, what an athlete, what a body. I was invited. Invited to do Power Athlete Symposium. Gold medalists. Olympic gold medalists, professional football players, SOCOM warriors, SEAL Team 6 brothers, and little old me.
Little old you.
Yeah.
Little old recon Marine killer, right. Rudy Reyes.
That's right.
3
and
tours.
Wow.
Come on now.
some of it, I don't know. Some of it was a plan or luck or something like that, because bullets would just move around me and RPGs. One was shooting directly at me, and one of the fins did not deploy, and right in front of my face, it shot straight up into the air.
Shape-shifting Matrix,
yes,
man.
Yes, it really, in a slipstream, I was in a vortex. I am in a vortex oftentimes, for sure, between worlds. A man between worlds, a true sorcerer. Yeah. A true sorcerer.
You gotta do what you gotta do.
Yes, sir. And, you see the plume trail, and all the insurgents are right there in a line watching it go up. Me and my men open up and kill all of them.
Wow.
Being truly free.
Yeah.
And that's what I got to experience to a totality in the Marine Corps. Now I'm experiencing in this world too. I was doing a talk at Power Athlete Symposium, and it was very technical for many people there. My talk was on the cosmos of body and creating a physical and athletic spaceship in which you can crush through dimensions and break through gravity and go to different universes and galaxies. And I'm playing David Bowie, and I'm playing freaking Jim Morrison. I'm showing French films from the French Foreign Legion Commando and slides of Wolverine and archetypes in manifesting the essential power, the primeval power that we have as men and women, as earthling aliens.
They got more than they were bargaining for.
Yeah, bro. That's so Bert's fun. So when I finish up and I'm singing, I'm an alligator. I'm singing some freaking Moon Age Daydream. Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
Put your electric eyes on me, baby. Press your egg onto my hair.
The vocal pleasures of Rudy Reyes.
Press your face close to mine, love. Freak out in a moon edge daydream. And
you have that going in the background.
Yes, and no, I am. Then I just overwhelmed singing it.
Yeah.
And I get a standing ovation. Brady,
so
Chachonka,
cool.
and Derek Woodsky and Bert, all heavy thinkers and heavy doers. They're looking at each other and they're doing the slow clap. And everybody starts clapping and going crazy. And
I didn't know how they were going to react to this.
And then Derek says, or Bert says, Derek or Brady, what the hell just happened here? And Derek Woodsky says, I think Rudy's spaceship's outside, and he's going to be leaving soon. And then Bert says, oh, well, you know what? I bet half of these people would follow him and go with him. They would. It was so awesome. Anyway, thank you, John Wellborn.
Yeah.
It's so wild. So when, me revisiting these stories, and as you spoke on stories, now a story is very different than this. The played out word called story that I hear in Los Angeles every freaking day. Everything's about a story, but a story to that trifling ass business oftentimes is a manufactured confection, a freaking donut to eat.
True essence built on capitalism and entertainment.
Yes, it's just
mainstream.
It's just a donut.
Yeah.
It's just some donuts.
Loose sugar.
It's just Dunkin' Donuts, man. Now, the real story, the true story from the ancients, from our indigenous cultures, again, into the river of primal, and then, metamorphosized and refined to the Greeks, and through Shakespeare, through music, art, culture, through rock and roll, Ian Astbury, the Cult, my people, Led Zeppelin, King Crimson, the emotional heart blood from Motown.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
Charles Bradley. And so these things,
get a little bit of that
these
soul
are
in there.
this is the freaking freaking femoral artery of humanness. This story, and the stories that we're crafting here, they're the true stories. This story is not a story meaning something that somebody wrote down.
Right.
Story is a life.
Yes.
A story is a culmination of lifetimes. It's a current and a waterfall. It's absolutely an exploding volcano and magma, lava.
Awesome.
This is what story is. And now there's potential in television and movies to be plugged into that story. And that's what I'm trying to do. That's not what I'm trying to do. It's what I am doing. And people like me are doing. And I'm already really excited about developing the next generations in the media.
Because real story can change the essence of the culture.
Yes, it can. With great power comes great responsibility. And look, Tim, even since we've been here, I had some fans out there, prior service and active duty.
You have fans everywhere.
Yeah, I had a 12-year-old son. Here he is out here, just hanging out to see Rudy.
Yeah.
To take pictures and spend time with his hero. There's something to the center of gravity that I possess. I will absolutely use it to save this planet and to save this planet one commando, one veteran, one coral reef, one sea turtle at a time.
I love that. So that movement that you're creating and you're bringing along with others at the round table, as you're guiding it into those next phases, what does that look like? What does that look like for Rudy? What does legacy mean to you and your movement forward now? What do you want from that?
It's interesting. I was talking with Jade last night, and she encourages me to want things. Or what do I want? I've never been a wanter. I've been a doer. Jade is asking me, well, what do I want? Because she asked me why I don't eat that much, and I tell her, well, because so many people starve, and there's a surplus of everything here, and it's always taken for granted, and I never want to get soft and take for granted things. And I say, I've never thought about wanting. I'm not a wanter. There's too much already in need. What do I... Where energetically in this world is there a place for want? When billions are on a stage and a enslavement of want, with commercialism and materialism, we don't need all these things.
Right.
So when you ask me what I want, thought deeply about it, and we talked last night. And what I want is to be relevant and to leave a legacy that will continue to inspire and to also maybe give perspective to future generations who will struggle with the things that I struggle with, because they will. War is not going away because man's nature has not changed. Give us a couple more 100 years with people like us changing behavior, first in our own lives, and inspiring others to take stock and take radical self-assessment to ultimately embrace freedom and love. Give us a couple 100 years, we're going to get somewhere. But if these stories, if these histories are lost, our future societies will be even more lost than we are. So what I want is to continue to make a difference and to be relevant and to absolutely be an agent and a vessel for a new world and a new earth and a new way of being, so that we humans can be stewards of this planet and of this universe, and not a disease.
I love that. That's awesome. It's really powerful, Rudy. I want to thank you for coming on the podcast. And I wanted to know, there are organizations obviously you want to lift up.
Sure.
Force Blue. You can find them on Instagram, right?
Yes, Force Blue Team, forceblueteam.org. Also,
Recon
Sniper Foundation. Also, completely transparent, above board.
I've had the great privilege of working with those guys. They actually sponsored Woody Williams, the last living Marine Corps Medal of Honor recipient from World War II. They sponsored his story that I did. So they're incredible guys.
Yes, they are. Chris Joliet, JJ, all of you. Chris Joliet, also my co-military advisor on Semper Fi. Thank you.
Cool.
Jai Courtney. Thank you, Henry Alex Rubin. Thank you, Chris Joliet. We absolutely could not have done it without you. And the premiere is October 4th nationwide.
Awesome.
And I will be in LA on September 24th for the premiere there. And there will be one in New York as well. Please follow it.
Awesome.
We have MVP
with
Nate Boyer, merging vets and players.
Yeah.
And who else? Save the Brave.
Save the Brave.
Yes, Scott Husing. That's a great place to start, y'all. Oh, Navy SEAL Foundation.
Yeah.
Also, the Green Beret. It's Green Beret.
Green Beret Foundation.
Foundation as well. Our credible brother, Michael Rodriguez, legendary.
Hey, guess where I'm heading after this?
Are you going to go see him?
I'm going to go cover him.
Oh, he's the raddest. He's the raddest. And hermano, I keep telling you, dog.
Mi familia.
Yes, with those pretty peepers of yours, your beautiful self needs to be in movies. And I swear to you, on the first movie that I get to cast and the first movie I get to do, you're going to be in it, brother. I love you. I love you so much, hermano, and I love your sons, all fighting the good fight, and your beautiful wife, same, all veterans, all warriors. I love you all. I have so much love for Jeff Gum as well. We call him, Jade and I call him Gummy Bears. Sunga Life, he does swimwear, all happy, beautiful.
Oh, yeah, I've seen that, yeah.
Legendary Navy SEAL brother.
That's cool, man.
And Jeff Nichols and Sean Matson from Strike Force.
Yeah, I know.
These
Strike
bros,
Force is great.
it's so wild. I got so many freaking beautiful frogmen in my life now. Ray Cash Care. These people, again, transcending an archetype of hunter-killer and warlord, now into being a Lord of Peace and all a very heavy Christian folk.
That's awesome.
And you know, we love and live for our village and our children. We're finding that our village and our children, they're everybody.
And that's what it's really about, right? You take that, you understand in combat, you're alive, you're pulling the trigger, you're one with the weapon, you attack in violence, that's your job. You're committed to that, but it's also part of your life form.
Yeah, it's your duty.
It's your duty. Duty is such a strong word. It's the word that all my World War II brothers use all the time.
Damn straight. Duty. I use it. I use it.
Oh, yeah.
It's my duty.
Yeah. I
I
find
hear
with
you.
these old Iwo Jima cats all the time.
Legend,
Like,
Marine Corps.
Yeah,
Can you imagine the freaking warriors?
Yeah.
When you got to flame throw your enemies to death? God dang.
Cook them in that microwave.
Yes, and this is why we don't ever brag, our generation, do we?
No.
We don't brag about who y'all badass we did.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, because we look back.
Yeah.
We look at Iwo, we look at Bastogne.
Yeah.
Come on.
Well, we do, but those aren't the guys that you and I associate with.
No,
So.
we don't. That's right.
Yeah, but that dynamic, man, and then getting out, it's much the way of the Spartan, the Roman legionnaire. You get out and you protect what you have, and then you get to come back and you get to love on your family. And
From
enjoy your life.
from swords to plowshares.
Yes, absolutely.
I'm with
And that's
you,
the
brother.
way it's meant to be.
That's the way it is meant to be, and we must realign to that, and we will, and we are.
Yes, let's do it.
All right.
Well, Rudy Reyes, thank you for being on the podcast.
Yeah, you're
It's
welcome.
a privilege and honor. First iterations of these, to have you as a part of it, and we gotta strengthen, maintain the community.
That's right.
And continue to lift each other up.
That's right. And thank you, all of you, brothers and sisters and citizens that helped me. My right-hand man, I call him Sabertooth Brandon Lilly, also known as Slim.
Yeah.
Have you seen how lean and freaking...
He's looking good.
Isn't
dude.
he? And his mission
We're gonna
is
get
like...
Brandon Lilly on the
You
podcast.
must. No, you
too,
must.
yeah.
I'm going to be doing his as well. I mean, he's
Cool.
my best friend.
Yeah.
He is...
The Sornex podcast.
Yeah, yes, he is just stunning.
Legendary.
As a human man, as a human being, as an athlete, as a father, as a musician. He's turned me on to so much music, and I'm going to teach him how to do muscle ups.
That
And I mean, what a way! I mean, he was the strongest
awesome.
man on the planet, lifted the heaviest weights, and soon he will be the thickest gymnast on the planet. Thickness.
thicker than a Snickers.
Oh, and Brandon and I are very close, and he reaches out to me and simply says, "How's your heart?" Because he knows me through and through, from hurts and the downs
That's so
and the
cool,
and the
bro.
goodness and our team Ricochet at freaking Winter Strong. It was our
Yeah.
team of misfits that won the damn thing. A big shout out also to Tommy, our wonderful family that I met through Spartan Race in Mongolia, and his father. A legendary knight, and who ran the Great Wall of China 3 times. He's knighted in the British government, and just these amazing folks. We brought Tommy to freaking Winter Strong. He'd never shot a weapon. Thank you, Leopold. Thank you, my sniper brothers that ran that class.
That's cool.
He learned to field dress an animal and cook. He learned to live in the field, and he had never touched a barbell in his life. He is an ultramarathon runner and runs track for Peking University. He was on our team, and after we won this competition, our amazing Taya from Australia, stunt woman, of course Brady Tatonka, myself, Tommy, and Brandon Lilly, the archer.
Yeah.
And
I've become good friends with Kai in the past few weeks.
Kai's just so
Yeah.
legend, and
He's
so
so nice.
so we were all kicking it, and we're on cloud 9, sporting around in a little 4-wheeler, because we had to go get one of the arrows that Brandon shot in so hard, ricocheted in, and we couldn't get it out. We finally we call our team Ricochet. Again, these are these special heroes, these humble heroes that come into my life. So we're hooting and hollering, coming back in to claim our prizes, right? And the 18-year-old from Peking University who's traveled the world, his father, a legendary knight, Dominus Hominus ordained,
Yeah.
knighted, he stopped us. He says, "Let us not gloat." And wow. So there's, hey, school's in session, you all.
Oh, he became the teacher.
Like that. And all of us, crickets, me and everybody looking at each other, like, damn.
We did get taught that.
That's right. So school's in session every day.
Dude, that's amazing.
Yep.
And you know what? That just shows the power of the civilian community in helping us. We need our
I
brothers
agree.
over there too, man. It's
I
so important.
agree.
That's the 98%, man.
Yes, it is.
We're the 2%.
That's
right.
right.
And
That's
so we
right.
need the civilian community to help in order, and that is why we're going to have civilians on this podcast who are integrated
I
to our
agree.
community.
I agree. I think that's a
Need to bridge
fantastic
that
idea.
gap.
That's a fantastic idea. I've got some people to line up
Awesome.
with you.
Let's line it up.
Yes, sir.
Rudy,
thank you
again,
so much,
brother. Love
Ryan.
you, man.
Fantastic. I love you too, and there'll be more of these ahead.
Absolutely.
Thank you, bro.
All right. Thanks, Rudy.
This has been the Veterans Project Podcast. with our founder, Tim Kay. Check us out at www.thevetsproject.com, on Instagram at The Veterans Project, Facebook, The Veterans Project, and Twitter at Project_Veteran. Thanks for listening, and don't forget, our legacies are the mission.